Thank you so much again for everybody being here. This is not a repeat meeting of last week. This is a new meeting. I'd like to see a show of hands. Who is here today that was not here last Sunday? Oh, that's a large number of people. Of those people, how many of you have not watched the video presentation of last week? And today's actually our action step plan for everybody who's diving into this with me, with this community. Today's our day to actually take action. I'll have my website up in a moment, and you can go to the website and see last week's video at your leisure, and then it should answer any and all questions that you're gonna walk out of here still wondering today. Thank you. We have handouts at the back. Those handouts are for anybody, and you can take them to give to other people in the community who you're wanting to help come join our group. We're going to do 3 things at the meeting today. We're going to cover 3 topics. The first 2 topics will be us here. The third will be my action plan with the people who've already said, yes, I'm in, let's rock and roll and go. So those of you who are just here to get some info will be getting released out of here sooner than the people who are saying, yes, I want to start a Firewise neighborhood on my street and be a member of Shelley Black's Fire Safe community. Since last week's meeting, there's a lot of buzz going around in the community, so we're going to address that. The next thing we're going to address is how we're connecting to our neighbors to build our neighborhood bigger and fill in the grid of homes that are participating in the program in the community. And then the third part, which will be for the people who have said, yes, I'm in, let's go, we're going to do our action plan discussion for the Firewise USA certification so that we're ready to actually get going and get our application turned in and our process happening. So I've got to start this meeting with things I'd rather not have to talk about. Some of you won't even know why I'm talking about them, and some of you will. I've had people with concerns in the neighborhood about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, what my intentions may be. So I want to cover that real quick, and then we're going to get on to the meat of our meeting. The reason I started any of this was the Havilah fire. When the Havilah fire happened, I was so devastated at the loss that I saw there. I thought, this is insane, because there's this product that would have prevented most of those homes from burning to the ground. But those people don't know the product exists because there's no marketing for it. It's been around more than 20 years, but there's no marketing. It's sold on federal levels. It's not sold to homeowners, but it's available. I felt it was my moral and humanitarian duty and obligation to let people know about the Barricade product, because I didn't want to see any of my neighbors go through what the people in Havilah went through. I was overwhelmed knowing that I could have helped some of those people not lose their entire lives' possessions. I don't want to have anybody else suffer losses like that because they didn't know about Barricade fire gel, or because I was too lazy or too uninterested to tell you about it, or because I didn't want to take the disparaging intentions that people seem to have to me because I'm presenting it to you. I don't understand. So I decided I needed to be a Barricade distributor for California because I didn't want to see any more places burned down. Since then, the 2 cabins that I lived in, built, and raised my children in have both burned down in Trabuco Canyon in California because I didn't get the word out in time to those people that this product exists. So anybody who doesn't want the product, they don't need to talk to me about it. It doesn't matter. I just can't not tell people about it because there's a lot of people who want it and are going to benefit from it. And I can't live with myself if I don't share this information because nobody knew it. And I just want people to know it. So there's my intention there. I've had quite a few folks since last meeting ask me about Barricade. I will be taking orders now because the batch being created in March is already selling out. And if I don't get people in, it'll be the second half of March before the next batch, if not longer. Because I started selling Barricade fire gel, I then found out about Firewise USA Neighborhood Program. I didn't even know this program existed because like most of you, I stay in my home living my happy little life and feeling blessed that I live in Bear Valley and I just want to enjoy my time. I don't always pay attention to what's happening at the CSD or the association. So I didn't know Firewise USA existed, even though Megan Clark was jumping up and down about it as our communication director 5 years ago. And Wendy Ward of the KernFireSafe.org has been here talking about it for a year. But most of us here didn't know about that, including me. We're not there at those meetings. So when I found out about this program, I thought, I need to do this, and I need to do it on a community-wide scale so that I'm helping the entire valley and not just 8 houses on my street. So my wanting to do an entire community apparently is a little outside the box for a lot of people, including those in the FireSafe, FireWise program. Then I'm getting told there's a conflict of interest, that I want to help with the FireWise USA, and I sell Barricade Fire Gel. I'm a distributor for it. I don't own it. I'm just getting the word out. That's it. You pay the same price no matter where you buy it, but it's going to be cheaper shipping for me because it's here. But anyway, so I don't see how it's a conflict of interest when my intention is to help my neighbors be prepared for a wildfire, be protected from a wildfire, and be ready to evacuate efficiently in a wildfire. FireWise USA covers one aspect of what all of us need to be doing. I'm here to cover all the aspects that I possibly can with my life experience. I didn't just decide to do this a week ago. Everything I've done in my life has led me to this moment. I've put my resume and experience on the homepage of the firesafecommunity.com, and if we can flip the screen up here to the next screen, that'd be great. If you go to firesafecommunity.com, it's a brand new URL and the link's a little weird, so if you have a problem, let me know. At the bottom, you can go read my bio of the things I've done in my lifetime. If you question if those are valid, Jeff Kermode, Debbie Geary, Doug Slavin, Greg Hahn, and Fiona Nelson were pretty much present for all the things I did that are listed on there, so feel free to verify the information. I don't feel it's a conflict of interest for me to be up here trying to help you from every angle. I have been felt like I should address this and/or should apologize for it, so this will be my one and only time of doing it. I feel real good about what I'm doing up here, and I feel real good that all of you are here wanting to do it. Because together, we're going to be a force to reckon with that's going to change the way things work fire safety-wise in this valley. I also was told after the last meeting that I seemed unprofessional and/or unprepared or possibly not qualified. So I was asked if I have business permits. Here they are. Yes, I do. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 5. I've been a community activist my entire life. In Chabico Canyon, I did a lot of things, real big things I was told I couldn't do, and I succeeded on all of them. I've lived here for 15 years, and I've been quiet because I've enjoyed living my little life. I never knew if I'd come back out and do what I'm doing now. I certainly never expected to be in a church in front of a podium with a microphone in front of 100 people. That wasn't my plan. But our situation we found ourselves in is really serious and really important, and it needs to be addressed on a wide, grand scale in a collaborated, unified effort, and it needs to be done now. I've been going to the CSD meetings for a while here, and for example, fire hydrants keep coming up. Every meeting we talk about fire hydrants, the next meeting they talk about fire hydrants, and the next meeting they talk about fire hydrants. I'm here to make things happen, and everyone who wants to join me, I'm thrilled. Come along, let's go. It's a volunteer thing. Nobody has to be here today. Nobody has to be following my lead. So the FireWise program itself is one aspect of what I'm doing here for our community group that's sitting here today. We have 3 aspects we're working on. One of them is FireWise USA, which is a volunteer program ran by CAL FIRE, administered in Kern County by KernFireSafe.org, and the leader for that program in Kern is Wendy Ward. Anybody who wants to create a FireWise US neighborhood can do so. They can be their own leader and get 8 homes and do the process. It is free and available to everybody. What I'm doing is helping you walk through the process, because you can file your taxes online with the IRS for free yourself too. But most of us don't do that. We'd rather pay somebody who has more experience, and we don't have the hassle. That's what I'm trying to be, so that's how we can look at that. So FireWise is volunteer free, and anybody wants to do it, they can. My $100 a year membership that I'm asking for to be part of my FireSafe community is for a whole lot more than that. We're going to go through the FireWise program. We're going to have a collaborated effort for evacuations, community-wise, And I'm going to help walk you through all the insurance aspects so that you get the maximum discounts that you're state mandatedly eligible for. That's not part of the FireWise program, and neither is the community-wide evacuation plan or the networking with all of the people we're going to be networking with, which have already come together greatly, and the amount of people who helped me since last week that I never met before, thank you. It's been an amazing journey in 1 week. So that's what the Fire Safe community I'm leading is for. FireWise USA is a part of it, and that's only a part. So we're going to rock and roll with a lot more than what they've got. Their plan is a nice thing for fire mitigation on a street of 8 homes. That's great, and I'm glad, and anybody who wants to do it, I wish them all the best, because the more the merrier. I want to do it as a collaborated community effort, and I want to go above and beyond what they're doing with teaching you how to save money on your insurance and walking you through. I was also questioned if I was going to have any liability of interacting with you, your insurance on your behalf. I will not be doing that. Your insurance and you have a contract that I am not part of. I won't be giving them any information. I'll be teaching you what you need to do and putting you through all of that you need to submit to them so that you get the discounts you're entitled to. I was also questioned if there'd be any liability of the way I present your information within the FireWise USA certification process. There really can't be, because the only information that's individualized is the addresses that are within the community. The overall community is the information that I give them. I'm not telling them that Susie didn't cut her tree down and over there has a propane tank right next to their wood pile. Okay, that is how it's going to work. So I'm not giving FireWise USA any of your information except for saying you qualified, you did the program, and let's get you on the registered database nationally. So those were liability issues that came up to me. The White Plain papers that I have back there today and that I handed out last week, those are not FireWise USA documents. Those were created by me for you. They're my intellectual legal property, and they're not ran through the FireWise USA program. They have brochures. I wasn't able to get any yet. I will get you some. Their brochures don't cover any of the information on the handouts that I've given you. So I was questioned if I was giving out non-FireWise documentation at a FireWise meeting. No, it's not a FireWise USA meeting. This is a Fire Safe Community ran by Shelley Black meeting, and I have literature of both. Today I only have mine because I wasn't able to get any from them, but theirs do not give you the directions that I'm giving you. All right, I think that was it for the not fun stuff, thank you. And I'm not gonna ever have this conversation again. I've said my piece and it can go where it's gonna go, and people can come be part of our community or they can do their own thing, and let's all do a good job and make our place safer. That's all I want. That's all my intention is. Okay, the next thing I wanted to go over is those who are members, the main thing I need from you is reaching more people. We need to build out your streets. We need a minimum of 8 homes connected to each other. They don't have to be on the same street. You might only have 5 homes on your street. You might have a half a mile between you and your next neighbor. It's okay. They are part of your map, part of your community. We need each of you to reach out to your neighbors to build your community, because I have no way to do that. And that's what I'm designed this for, that we can all work together instead of just 3 people knowing about it. We're gonna get out there and tell everybody. The amount of people that found out about this meeting last week, when I only announced it 3 days before then, was shocking and beautiful and amazing. If we wanted to, we could easily contact every single Bear Valley resident by the end of this week in a heartbeat, blink of an eye. Everybody here knows enough people to know enough people to know enough people to know enough people. That's what I need as your action as a member in this community. Help me build the neighborhood bigger and fill the grid in as an overall collaborative group. In the Fire Safe community that I'm developing, we'll cover those 3 things. We're going to cover how to keep your insurance rates down, and I'll help you work with your insurance. We're going to cover our fire mitigation, and we're going to prepare an evacuation plan and do a lot more community networking and have everything actionable so that we're all on the same page and we could do it in our sleep. That's a key point, people. 4 a.m., got to wake up pretty fast. What I'm also doing that's above and beyond what Firewise USA does is I have the website, I have information, I'm going to have all of our videos up there. This will be videotaped and be up there. We're going to do a lot of meetings. Firewise USA, your requirement is 1 meeting a year of your neighborhood discussing the stuff we're going to discuss at the second half of this meeting today. That's all you have, that's all they have to do for a year with you for interaction in the Firewise. They're giving you guidance, they're showing you what to do, they're giving you all the handouts, exactly like I will be, but you have 1 meeting. I plan to have as many meetings in a year as we can manage to pull off. I plan to do them on Zoom, I plan to record the Zoom meetings, and I plan to have them all on the website. We're going to cover so many topics and go through so many very, very important things we all need to be addressing together on an ongoing basis. To meet the Firewise USA requirement, you will only be required to attend what we're going to cover in the second half of today's meeting. To be part of my community, you will be welcomed and open arms to please attend everything we're doing, because the more information we have, the better. Okay. Also today, just by the grace of the way the universe works, I was at a birthday party at the club last night, and I had the blessing of meeting a fire inspector who's currently inspecting the fires in LA. And he's very kindly sitting in the back of the room right now, and I told him I might call upon him. So I'd love to just introduce him and let him say anything he wants to say for however many minutes, just a few minutes. It's Robert Rowe back here, and I don't know, can anybody hand him a microphone, or do you want Robert to come up here? He's coming up. He's better in front of a crowd than I am anyway. Yes, thank this man. Thank this man. He can introduce himself and tell you who he is and what he's doing.
Thank you, Shelley. Well, first of all, I'm not from here, but I have history here through a friend of mine that I'm sitting with tonight, Mike Jadlik. He's lived here and he's built homes up here, and so I feel sort of kind of part of Bear Valley Springs. But I just wanted to, and I'm going to keep it really short, Shelley. What she's doing, I think, is a great thing, because if you think about it, right now, we're all sitting in this room, but if we were alerted on our phones or whatever that we have a brush fire burning on the inside the hill, would we be ready? And I think you really have to think about that. And this is what she's trying to do. All right, I got somebody's telling me to get a little closer.
Tell them who you are and what you do.
Okay, let me back up a little bit. I am, believe it or not, retired, gray hair, but I'm retired from the Downey Fire Department, which is in LA County. I left Downey Fire Department as a deputy fire marshal and fire investigator. I started a company, PyroCop Inc. I'm not going to sell that. I'm just saying that I do investigations. That's what I've been doing for pretty much 27 years of my life. So, and recently I've got 4 active fires currently with the Palisades Fire. I had the opportunity to go through that neighborhood with a client. It is, I guess the best word is horrible, okay? The devastation that I have seen at the Palisades Fire is beyond belief. And so the passion that I have here is from my recent experience. Shelley is actually trying to prevent this from happening in this valley, but it is very real and very true, and there is a lot of heartbreak. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think we all kind of understand the risk. So she asked me if I would come up and speak a little bit today, and I think the first thing that stuck out in my mind as I'm listening to Shelley is that we are in this room. There's a small group. It's not really representative of the entirety of Bear Valley Springs. And I think that was a very important point, is that we have to understand the risk, number one, and we have to understand what we are capable of doing or not. And we have to understand that being neighbors and understanding our neighborhoods and being in communication with our neighbors is going to probably save your lives. So I encourage that. I encourage that you get to know each other, that you reach out to your neighbors, just to be able to understand the dynamic of the valley. You have to understand your risk. You have to understand who you may be trying to help out or trying to evacuate, the elderly maybe. You know, and it's just, when I saw the Palisades loss, it made me think about my own neighborhood. I live in a wildland interface area too in Alta Loma in Rancho Cucamonga. So I'm below Mount Baldy, so I understand it. So I understand what it means when you see a plume of smoke. It's very disheartening, and you worry. So I guess my point is here today is that I think that what you guys are doing in the Valley is extremely important. I think that what is important for you to understand is the dynamic that's involved with a fire loss as a result of the wildland fires. And what is your plan? You as a family in your home, what is your plan? And right now it's being presented. So in a nutshell, I have seen firsthand the devastation. Until you've lost your home, maybe even lost a loved one, then you understand it. But if we understand it beforehand and we do something to prevent it, or at least to, I guess, deal with it is the best word I can think of, is what this is all about. So if we can reach out to those that maybe didn't attend today, and maybe share with the opportunities that they have that Shelley is presenting today, I think that that's going to at least be the first step. So I have a real quick question. I talked to my friend Mike. I said, Mike, what would you do if you were alerted of a fire in Bear Valley Springs? Would you stay and try to protect your home? Or would you evacuate? Now, show of hands, how many feel that they would probably stay and protect their home? Okay, very noble. I completely understand it, because to be honest with you, I probably would think about that as well. But the most important thing is getting out, is listening to the evacuation orders, to listen to the fire service when they say leave, and to get out. Because you know what? You can come back and rebuild. It's horrible. I have experienced it. I've listened to these poor people that I deal with on these investigations. And there are so many reasons to stay behind and fight. But the better thing to do is prevent, right? And so the importance of you being at this meeting today is something that you will remember when that day comes when Kern County and Bear Valley Springs is threatened by fire. I don't mean to scare you, it's just reality. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to share. Shelley, if you guys want to talk to me for whatever reason, I'm open, because I believe in this. And I think it's great that you guys are doing this in your valley. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Thank you. And to elaborate on Robert's last sentiments there, within Bear Valley, we have an evacuation plan that's available on the CSD website. Not everybody is recommended to evacuate at once. That would be a catastrophe. People who are up high need to get down off the hill. People who are in high, have trees and slopes against their house need to get out of them. People who are down on the valley floor with openness and accessibility, they can stay put unless it's right coming at them. Because if we all exit at once, nobody's making it to town, period. So that's a lot of what I want to work on. Robert is correct. You don't want to stay and lose your life. But we also don't leave all immediately the second that alert comes in, and we need to work together to have a coordinated understanding of who leaves when, why, where. And we're all going to get together with the Bear Valley ERT, emergency radio team, to make sure everybody has a radio that's in this program, my Fire Safe Community, so that we have our own alert that is tied in with Bear Valley Police and Dane Hurst directly. So we'll be dialed in with that. Okay, so this will be the end of the open part of the meeting. Now, as far as sharing information with people, I've got handouts. You can send people to the website and you can share the links. You can share the links to my YouTube videos. If you haven't looked at my website, please do. I've put a good bit of information on there, and it's going to keep growing every single week. I'm going to add more and more and more and more information. You can share the links to it on social media, Nextdoor, YouTube, text them, use your cell phone. You can connect with neighbors without leaving your house. We have the technology. We could literally, from everybody that's in this room now, we could connect with everybody in Bear Valley by tomorrow without setting foot of our house if we truly wanted to. I've started this for Bear Valley Springs. In the past week, I've been approached by a lot of other neighborhoods and a lot of other people who want me to come in and help them as well. So we're gonna have to establish the individual different neighborhoods. Stallion has a CERT team, which Bear Valley does not have. So you've got your CERT team. I would connect with them, and they should have a radio response team set up there. And if they don't, as a Firewise community leader, I will help Stallion Springs work in that direction and make that come together. Those are the kind of things that I want to address and you know, get it out there no matter what community you're in. Absolutely. So you can share out this information with all these different social media and technologies without leaving your house. So please do that. And I've got the handouts there. So as of today, anybody who now wants to become a member, Julie is back there, and she has a little form you could fill out that gives you my information. My annual membership fee is $100 a year, and that's for my Fire Safe community. That is not for Firewise USA. That's a free program. You can go do that one on your own for free. It's there. So anybody who wants to join right now and stay for the meeting we're going to do, which is the second half of we're going to do our action plan now for getting into starting our opening the Firewise program for our 5-foot clearance. You could literally go to my website, which is back up there, firesafecommunity.com, and you could literally pay the $100 membership now, fill the form out with Julie, and stay here for the rest of this meeting. Otherwise, what we're gonna do now is it's everybody who says, yes, let's go, let's stay, and we're going to go through the action plan. I will have this on video, so any members who do need to leave now or want to leave now will have this on video, and any members who've missed it will have it on video. What we need to accomplish now, that is a requirement of the Firewise USA program, is an interactive roundtable kind of a discussion of what each of us plans to do to mitigate the fire clearance in the 5-foot range around our house. And as we discuss it amongst ourselves, we'll come up with new ideas that we hadn't thought of. And that's the way the program is designed, and that's what we're about to do now. So thank you so much for anybody who wants to leave now. Anybody who wants to stay, make sure you're a member, and we're going to start addressing this for our 5-foot clearance. And yeah, I'll take a few questions first. Thank you.
Two quick questions. When is the deadline to sign up for your community? And two, if we don't have enough neighbors to make if we pay, what happens and we're not allowed to be included because of...
If that were to happen, I would definitely refund you. I don't anticipate that happening because even if the 7 neighbors closest to you absolutely have no interest in this, we'll just pass them by and fill the grid around them. The program can work that way. Once our neighborhood, your neighborhood is certified, there's no late enrollment after the fact, so any of them who didn't do it this time won't be able to join your community once you're certified, but they're always available to start their own community. Okay, as far as my 6-week deadline, I'm doing that for Bear Valley Springs, and I don't really have a deadline for Stallion or I've got Alpine wants in, Golden Hills. My deadline, it's not that so much a deadline, it's that insurance is going to get canceled come July and it's going to quadruple in price come August. That's our reality that's coming our way right now. So I'm trying to make the most communities and neighborhoods I possibly can and get them certified before that happens. I can still do neighborhoods after that happens, but there's going to be a lot of people who've already lost their insurance. So I'm trying to get to where I'm doing it as fast as possible, and that's the only reason I put a 6-week window on it. And again, it's not a Firewise USA window. It's a Shelley Black Safe Community window of I just want to get us all safe before the poop hits the fan this summer. But I will continue doing it ongoing, probably for years to come, to be honest. My whole life has led me to this moment, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to help anybody and everybody I can. But whoever gets in now, then we can get it going that we're ready for this summer. If we start later or your neighborhood doesn't get filled in time, I won't turn you away. We won't not be in the program. We'll still go forward. We just might not get you there in time for the insurance stuff to hit. Okay, we got another question here. The question was, is the Insurance Commissioner of California on board with the Firewise USA program, and are the insurance companies on board with the Firewise USA program? Yes and yes. Firewise USA is a national program. It was started by the National Fire NFA, Robert probably knows. It's a national program that started it in California. It's administered by CAL FIRE. In Kern County, it's administered by kernfiresafe.org. It is a contract, I don't know if a contract's the right word, it's a written agreement that's mandated, that is governed by CAL FIRE, and the state of California has mandated as of October 1st, 2024, that if you are a Firewise Neighborhood certified house, it's a national database, you go into the database as a certified home or certified address, you then are mandated to get a discount on your insurance. Within my Fire Safe community, I'm going to show you how to get way more discounts than just that and help you have what you need to get it to your insurance in the manner that they'll give you those discounts. You're obligated to get them, but they're not handing them out easily. The question was, would the discount be on the CAL FIRE plan, or would it be on his overlapping plan on top of CAL FIRE? Both. Go ahead, Kevin.
I spent some time talking with my insurance company, which is California Casualty, which you can only be insured by them if you are either a first responder, a police officer, or in the police department, fire department, healthcare, or teacher, former teacher. They told me after I pushed them pretty hard, it took a little while because the first guy I talked to didn't know anything about the program. He's like, well, you can get $2 for this and $5 for that. And I said, yeah, but this is a state program. He says, let me talk to my supervisor. He said between 10 and 25% once I get certified and depending on the neighborhood. So there is a substantial amount available, but you have to push to get somebody to talk to, somebody that knows something. It wasn't anything he knew off the top of his head, or at least wouldn't admit to.
Thank you, Kevin. So what Kevin found is he could get a 10 to 25% discount on his insurance for being in this plan. But the insurance didn't let him get that info easily at all. He had to pull teeth and be persistent, it sounds like. That's what I'm doing in my Fire Safe community to help all of you through all of that so you don't have to try to do it by yourself. Okay, thank you, Kevin. All right, another question here.
Thank you, Shelley, for doing this. There's a large amount of us here today that are from Stallion Springs, and I have been in contact with you via email, and I'm wondering if you have been able to connect with our general manager to see about hosting these meetings in Stallion so we can get things going there.
It is on my list for this week.
Okay.
This past week, our power was out one day, and then my monitor died another day, and my computer guy was out sick, and I was trying to make the website and take care of everybody that joined, so I did not get to them, but they're very high on my list.
Good, yes, because we have a large group here today.
Thank you.
That is going to be reaching out to all of their neighbors, as I have been doing.
Thank you.
So hopefully we'll get going very, very soon. Is
I will help
anybody
you.
else here from Stallion that has a question for Shelley?
I think the overriding point that we need to realize is that it puts us back in a database where we're no longer being extorted, having these ridiculous choices of insurance where they don't have any, their backing is basically offshore companies with not the funds. So people think they have insurance and they don't. By doing this, from what I can understand, is that we go back on a database into a pool where we can have the availability and options again of major insurance companies picking us up. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you. So basically what she's saying is that her understanding of when you get a Firewise USA certification, which again is one of the 3 things I'm offering here, but it's an important one, That it puts you in a position, instead of being stuck with only having one or two insurance companies that are talking to you, that you have the opportunity to shop insurances and see which ones are going to even give you a bigger discount for being in the Firewise USA program. Insurance companies have their own insurance companies. The insurance companies insuring the insurance companies are putting pressure on them to stop insuring homes that are flammable. Find homes that are not flammable. That's the directions. Firewise USA is the only national program that addresses those in this manner and has got the mandates through with CAL FIRE and the state of California and the insurance companies. Anyone who's gotten a new policy since October 1st, if you open it up and look at it, you'll see you have what's equivalent to good driver discounts in your policy. We covered those last week. If you watch the video on my website, you will see all the detailed information on that. Okay, one more question and then we're gonna get going on our stuff because I know people want to get out of here. All right, we've got one question in the back, thank you.
Yes, we're in Alpine Forest, but we have horses, sheep, goats, and we're part. Is your plan part of to be able to evacuate large animals?
Thank you. Great question. So he's in Alpine, and he wants to know if working within my fire-safe community will be addressing the evacuation of large animals. Absolutely. That'll be part of what we're addressing. Right now, we're trying to get through the Firewise USA program, and that's what I'm going to focus on. But once we get all those things rolling, then we need to really be working on the evacuation plans and working on them as a cohesive community so we know who has the equipment to get all their animals out and who doesn't, who's in situations it's going to be more challenging to get out. We'll cover all that so that we have actionable plans that we all are aware of. Yeah, you're welcome to. And then we'll stay and do this roundtable discussion of what your next steps are, of what you're going to do for your 5 feet mitigation. And then I'll meet with you guys separately to get working on all the same stuff. But we can do it all together. I'm going to have this on my website so that I can reach as many people in California as possible because the need is here and the time is up.
So could we also have that? Because
Yes.
And in line with that, say if there is only 10 people in our area, say 4 people, and then are they going to be linked up with the whole of Stallion?
No, we'd probably have to
In the
build
same
some independent
neighborhood?
communities. They need, a Firewise USA neighborhood needs to have, they need to be connected to each other because the foundation is having the community collaboration and community connections. So the question was, if I help them in Stallion and we get just a couple homes here and a couple homes here, what we'll have to do is we'll have to have a minimum of 8 homes here and a minimum of 8 homes here. We'd love to build that out and run that line as far as we can, but if all we have is 8, we'll put through 8. So I do take credit card, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle. On my website, it's secure. You've got PayPal and Apple Pay, Google Pay on there, I think. I do have Venmo and my PayPal. I meant to bring the scan codes with me and I did not do that today, so anybody who wants to use that can shoot me a text and I'll shoot you the scan code when I get home, and you're welcome to still, you're here, you're in, we'll do it, you're in today. I think it's time. Let's get on to our 5-foot mitigation, and that's all we have to address for this first calendar year to be in the Firewise USA program. We're not worried about anything beyond 5 feet. That's at least as far as our certification. Do all of you have the Firewise assessment observation? It's a 2-page document. This questionnaire gives you things to think about, things you can address, things you want to do now, and also gives you things to say, okay, I'm not going to get to that this year, but I'm going to try to get to it next year. It's all an ongoing process of continued improvement at every phase and every possibility that you can. Just because I want you to think about it, and then we're going to open up for people to discuss it. What we want to do is have people say, oh, I'm going to do this, and oh, I think that's a good idea. This week, I already had people call me telling me that they've trimmed their trees 6 feet up. I've had people calling me telling they've cut their trees down. I've had people tell me they had their wood chips removed. I've had people telling me they're getting hardscape brought in. in 1 week. That's what we need. As a neighborhood community, we are to be interacting with all of this aspect together. That's the Firewise USA Foundation. Things to think about, and then we're going to discuss. Is there dead vegetation, dried leaves, pine needles, and ground debris anywhere near your foundation? Is hardscaping used around any perimeters to keep them free of litter or debris? Hardscaping is, you could have concrete siding, you could have stucco siding versus wood siding. I personally have a raised house, and I have an opening underneath my house. So I currently have like a landscape fabric around that, but I need to replace it with 1/8 inch thick wire, 1/8 inch thick wire around the whole foundation of my house so that leaves and embers can't get under there. And as far as your 5 feet goes, you can paint your deck with paint that has fire retardant in it. If your house gets engulfed on fire, that deck's going to burn. That paint's not going to save your deck. That paint is designed to stop the embers from catching that deck on fire. But if you have a bunch of fuel around the foundation of your house and it's burning, that deck's still going to catch. So that's the kind of 5 feet stuff we're addressing today. Do you have concrete, stone, or gravel walkways? And here's the big one, have wood mulch products been replaced with non-combustible alternatives such as crushed stone or gravel options? Again, and I was talking with Robert last night and telling him how everybody here is bringing in semi-truckloads of 4-inch long wood chips, and it pretty much, I think it kind of blew Robert's mind. It certainly blows mine. So not a good fad and not going to help any of us, not going to qualify in the program. Are there trees or shrubs within 5 feet of the home? Are there branches overhanging the roof or within 10 feet of chimneys? Now, ultimately, perfect scenario, cut all your trees down. None of us want to cut all our trees down. I certainly don't. And it's not really a perfect scenario because trees do give us water and air as well that help balance the ecosystem. So, but if you have them close to your home, you need to be mitigating them. Any trees should be trimmed a minimum of 6 feet up. If it's a really big tree, they should be trimmed 1/3 of the way up, okay? If you have trees that are hanging over your roof or your chimney, trim those branches, just get them away from your house. Any combustible items like furniture or planters on a deck or within 5 feet of your home. Any firewood piles within 5 feet of the home. Firewood should be at least 30 feet away from your home. How about a propane tank within 5 feet of your home? By the way, if you've never seen a propane tank explode in a wildfire, there's a video of it on my website. Go take a look under the videos section and watch it. Okay, are there any structures within 5 feet of your home, like a doghouse or a playhouse or a tough shed? Do you have double pane fire retardant windows? Do you have fireproof eaves? These are eaves that do not have open vents. There's different things you can have for closed eaves, and I would recommend having a professional make sure that you've got state-of-the-art, safe, fire-retardant eaves and vents. And we will work with finding those professionals within our community so that we have a database to access to make it easy. That's in the process, not yet completed. Do you have a wood shingle roof? Fortunately, most of us do not. Most of us have the composite roofs. The composites are quite fire retardant. A tile roof is quite fire retardant unless it's got loose shingles, like birds have made nests underneath them. Not so fire retardant with the bird nests in there. But a composite roof itself, will it burn? Well, yeah, you saw the fires in LA. It'll burn. Will it be the access point to a fire taking your house? No. As long as it's the current ones. You got an old roof, get a new one. Do you have wood siding on your home versus a fireproof siding? Concrete, of course, is your best. Stucco kind of comes in second place after that. And again, any combustible items within 5 feet of your home, a lot of us do. We store some stuff here or there. Clean it up. Let's make it look nice and make it safer. Is the bottom 12 inches of your home either concrete or a fire retardant material such as an 8-inch thick wire mesh? Within the Firewise USA program, I'm finding some conflicting information. It just could be where I'm accessing. Some are saying 6 inches and some are saying 12 inches. I think 6 inches is useless. Let's have at least 12 inches. I'd go 18 to 24 inches if you could. If the bottom part of your house has either concrete or the wire mesh, that's a huge savings for preventing, a huge protection from catching on from a wildfire from the embers. If you have any crawl spaces under your home, such as I do, you want to put the wire mesh we've talked about. We talked last week of who knew how to turn off their main water line and gas lines. We got a really good response on that. Most people knew how. Have you had your chimney spark arrestor inspected and or updated within the past year? And have you had your chimney swept in the past year? When Edison turns us off, you want to know how many people on my street had a fire going in their fireplace? A lot. But when I ask them about their spark arresters, I get a lot of blank looks, and that is terrifying.
I talked to the Southern California Edison guys, and the way it works is that we have wind things on the roofs. I'm on the same side of the valley you are. That's why we get shut off. Because on this side of the valley, it used to be 25 miles an hour, 50 mile an hour gusts was shut off. Now it's 30 miles an hour, 60 mile an hour gusts. They always send someone out first to make sure. But because Cummings, Alpine, Cummings Valley, and that side of the valley, we tend to get the higher gusts on the ridges there. That's why we're going out, and the other side, San Juan over, is not. In some of those wind things, because I know I've gone all along.
Yeah,
too.
it's
But
interesting.
just so you know, and they also come out, and then they have to inspect it, as you know, before they can turn it on. So that's how. But they have raised the amount, to make it allow it a little windier.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So personally, when they turn our power off and I smell all my neighbors with their fireplaces going and those winds are howling, I sleep a lot lighter that night, let me tell you. So these are the kind of things that I feel it's really important that we're all addressing and becoming aware of, because I don't think everybody stops to think about it. Now, being that I have always lived in high fire risk areas, and being that I have been evacuated and that I was a volunteer firefighter for 20 years in National Forest, I can tell you, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's the attics that will catch your house on fire. Absolutely. An attic crawl space, that's a good access point for a fire. A lot of homes here don't have attics and crawl spaces up above. We've got slope ceilings for the snow. Our main access points from my personal experience is decks and eaves, stairs leading to decks, and wooden fences leading up to the house that are in that 5 feet range. Those are the main things that I have experienced are the access points to catch a home on fire. When we lost 14 homes in the fire in Majeska Canyon in 2007, a friend of mine's home, she'd actually lost it in 1980, then she lost it again in 2007. Same house, same spot. In 2007, her house had such wonderful clearance that the Orange County Fire Department had predetermined her house to be the staging area if and when a fire came. Her house burned down before it got to be the staging area. The deck took her house. Those are the things that we need to work on for this year for the first 5 feet. The second page there is for you to fill out information. What you can tell me here is all of these things that you already qualified for, which things you did not already qualify for and you have now changed and done the mitigation actions and you document it for me. I trimmed this tree, I moved the firewood pile, whatever you've done. And then you can also write on here for me the things that were listed here that you didn't get to, but you could realistically look at getting to them within the year. Like maybe you want to put in double pane windows and you haven't done it yet. Great, you don't have to do it in the next 6 weeks, but it'd be nice to do it if you want to, and you put it on the plan, it's your plan for next year. Does that mean you have to do what you say on your plan? It's kind of like New Year's resolutions. Let's hope we do, but I won't hold your toes to the fire if you don't. Anybody who'd like to share ideas that they have on their 5 feet, what they've already done in the past week, what they've already made a habit of doing, what they recommend doing, I'd love to open the floor up so that we have interactive. Once you've completed your action plans, you've done your mitigation, and you turn the paperwork into me, you're literally ready for me to take you to the Firewise USA and start the certification process, except for you're only one person. We need your whole street ready. So literally, if everybody had this done in the next 2 weeks, we could start the process in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to hold out for the 6 weeks because I'm going to try to fill in as many grids in the neighborhoods as I can, but then we're going to be ready to rock and roll. And if we've got a neighborhood that we know we've tapped it out and there's no new people coming and we're going to say that's a complete neighborhood, I'll start their certification first because we don't need to do them all on the same day. CAL FIRE couldn't even handle it if they did. So we'll do them as you guys pull it off. Okay, thank you.
When I was talking to the insurance companies regarding the 5-foot separation, that included plants of any variety.
Yes.
In other words, flowers all had to go. Now, they were really, not just one, but several, were saying exactly the same thing. No shrubbery, no nothing. So you gotta be, that's ridiculous, it gets that low. And that 5 feet separation means you can't even have something in that area at all. And so putting together that, you better have something like concrete or rocks or something like that. Otherwise, you just won't qualify for that. And they do a fire check. Many of them do. They fly the drone over, and they're looking for that kind of violation or leaves on your roof. They're looking at even the roof itself. I have tile. Our tile roof had to be refreshed, as they call it, $5,000 to just refresh the roof because it had some cracked tiles and stuff. There's a lot of real high stipulations that they go by, and I guess each insurance company may step it up a little bit from that.
What was just being said is discussing that his insurance company had said any and all plants within 5 feet of the home must be removed. That includes potted plants, shrubbery, trees, leaves, all of it. Okay. Now, for the Firewise USA certification program, there are no musts at all. You don't have to do anything that's a must. You have to, the community itself is going to have to meet an average of meeting an average of each of the mitigation procedures. So if everybody in the community has shrubs against their house, probably the community will not get certified. If 3 out of 20 people have shrubs against their house, but they have really good clearance on everything else, we're probably going to get that community through. It's about an overall average in the community and an overall average of mitigation procedures on any one property, meaning that if you have a few shrubs, but you've got a concrete siding, closed eaves, all these other things that are making you more fire resistant, that's giving you, let's say, brownie points within the Firewise USA program. I'm probably going to get in trouble for that because that's not an official terminology for them, so, okay. Now, as far as that's for the Firewise program, these are the exact same recommendations. There are no musts. If you don't kill all the shrubs in your yard, I'm not going to lock you out of this program. But as far as your insurance goes, when I help show you how to do the mitigations and document it, and we get you certified and you're taking this information to your insurance to get a discount, they can do what he said. They can demand pictures. They will demand pictures. So take all before and after pictures, everything you do, before and after pictures for your insurance. They're not for the Firewise program. We might need them and they'd be handy, but they're for your insurance. So they can then fly a drone over. Firewise USA won't do any of those things, but your insurance absolutely could. Okay. As far as he said, also they made him repair his roof. I have a neighbor in Bear Valley who her insurance was canceled. She had composite roof and some heavy winds had lifted a corner off of the eaves over her deck. And so she put a tarp on it because rain was coming, and they videotaped, put a drone over and canceled her. So absolutely that happens, and we can't control that. All we can do is set ourselves in the best position possible, and that's what we're doing.
Well, the question was, what do we plan to do? And I haven't done it yet, but my intention is to put 5 feet of heavy gravel around the house. And the reason for that is because we get a lot of leaves. And if we put down DG or wash sand or something, it'll be hard to blow the leaves off.
1 inch gravel.
Yeah,
That way you can use a leaf blower and not blow the gravel away.
The membership, is that required for everyone, all 8 houses? Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes,
Great.
thank you.
I live nearby Columbia. I'm on Bryan. I have a lot of oak trees. What do we do with those oak trees branches coming over?
In Bear Valley, you are required to get a permit to trim an oak tree. If you show them it's over your home, you will get that permit. Oak trees, you know, there's trees that are more flammable than others. Oak trees aren't your most flammable trees, so please, people, don't go wiping out your oak trees because we've had this meeting. Don't do that, okay? Keep them trimmed up some. Oak trees don't need as much trimming as a lot of people around here tend to do. What you want to do to trim an oak tree is try not to trim them in the fall. You actually want to trim them in the spring. And really with an oak tree, you really only want to trim anything that's dead and or mistletoe, which I don't know about today, but 20 years ago when I was in Orange County, we did not have mistletoe and oak trees at all. But we sure do here. We're going to lose most of the oak trees in Bear Valley in the next decade because of the mistletoe, just so you know. We're going to look like the moon. All these oak trees are going to die. So you want to trim only what's dead, only what's hanging over your house, and any mistletoe on an oak tree. If you have a wooden fence, you want to do 5 feet from your house with a metal gate or a metal fence so that it doesn't lead the fire. And if you could do 8 feet, I'd even do 8 feet. 5 is the recommendation, but I would prefer 8 feet personally.
No, I just want to take everybody back to your fireplaces and chimney. This is the season for it. And how many here, I'm going to probably say everybody has a fireplace. Is that true? Raise your hands. Quite a few of you. The question that I have, and I'm not saying that you didn't or haven't, but please reach out to a certified chimney sweep. And if you haven't done that already, and have them inspect and have them correct any type of problems you may have with your chimney. A lot of fires that I investigate involve a cracked fireplace or the actual mesh that you have over your fireplace is either
Spark
corroded.
arrestor, the spark arrestor.
Thank you very much. So what I did to prevent that is I went to gas. Now, I know that's probably a horrible thing to say, but for me, I converted to gas. And I have a beautiful fireplace. It's got the little fake logs and all that type of stuff. And I didn't want to do it in the beginning, but I didn't want to take that risk because I am also in a high fire severity zone. So just keep in mind, get a qualified chimney sweep. Very good.
So
practice.
clean out your lint traps as well as your chimneys.
Right, all right.
I had a chimney sweep come out to clean out the lint from the dryer, and also asked him about our chimney because it is an older chimney that had an insert put in, and he said that, oh yeah, it's fine, but he didn't check it. So I don't want to. Do I need to have them come back out and say, I need you to check from the top down? Okay, and I also, just so you know, there are areas like where you could pull out, from the fireplace at the bottom, and I went in, I vacuumed that all out and everything like that, because we had heard recently of someone losing their home because of a gas fireplace. So there's still a danger with the gas.
But that's the importance of having a professional come out. If they are professional, you have to do your homework and make sure that you ask the questions. Are you a certified chimney sweep? Some people will say we're chimney sweeps and don't have the training or expertise in order to do that. So that's the important part. If it's a gas fireplace, sometimes you need to call out a plumber that actually installs gas lines that are certified to do that. They can look at your gas lines and make sure that they're not leaking or there's a problem with it. So yes, chimney sweeps, yes, plumbers that are certified if you have a gas issue, always. And if the gas issue is at the source, then you call out the gas company or whoever your propane provider is. Don't be shy. They'll help you out.
Another question up this way, Robert, up front.
Who should we be reporting trees that are touching the lines too? Because I live up off Jacaranda, and coming down, I can see 3 or 4 places where the trees are actually touching or the lines are going through. Excuse me. Do we report that to Edison? Or, I mean, everybody's been up there, so I don't know. I can't be the only one that's seeing it.
Edison has a contract with the tree trimming folks, and they're coming around. I know up on Skyline they've done it. They've done it to our place, but I know there's not very many of them doing it. But if there is a problem and it hasn't been rectified, then call the CSD.
Our discussion is about branches on power lines and who to contact. So in Bear Valley, we have our CSD, Community Service District, and then there's also, could be Southern California Edison or wherever you live, maybe PG&E. I would contact all the above. And then it was mentioned the lines could be race, they could be different things.
There's one other thing, and I know I brought it up to the CSD, and that's, I live up on Skyline, and on Saddleback, the weeds are growing out on the road. And I've told them, I said, it's gonna take one contractor, somebody who doesn't live here, to flick a cigarette out on an ice hot day, and we got a good fire going. I've told them about it. They started cleaning up halfway up Saddleback, and they stopped. I don't know what happened there. They're just really not keeping up on it. But I noticed, you might wanna check your streets and I look at that where the barriers are covered with weeds. And, they're green, and then they leave them there. They're not trimming them up or, taking them out.
So a lot of properties have treated wood for fencing. Is that acceptable?
So asking if treated wood is acceptable, yes, absolutely. What you want to do to make your insurance and the Firewise USA happy and you safer is don't have them running right up to your home or even any other structures, to be honest. Put the last 5 to even minimum 5 feet, but the longer the better, put in metal fencing or a metal gate. But having wood for the rest of your property is fine, but don't bring it up to any structures.
Second question is, you mentioned firewood, 30 feet from the house.
20.
What if it's your neighbor?
No, 30, you're right.
30.
You're right, 30.
What if it's
Sorry.
your neighbor's firewood? Our house, we have good clearance all the way around. Our neighbors, of course, have put their stacks of firewood within 30 feet of our house.
You need to consider that one of your 5 access points. That's one of your 5 weakest links to catch your property on fire. So you want to do your own mitigation between that firewood pile and your home to the best of your ability. I would report it to the fire department, our fire station here. I don't know if they can make them move it or not. Maybe Robert will know, I don't know. But I would report it to them. So bringing them the information, letting them know, like maybe using one of our handouts, or when I get a Firewise one, or we'll have a handout that you could show them that per insurance rules, this needs to be 30 feet away from structures, and that they're, endangering you, and that, you would help them come up with a better place to move it or something like. You don't have to physically help them move it, of course, but we're trying to reach out to our neighbors who might be making poor decisions just for lack of knowledge and information and experience. And then we're hoping that they're receptive to the information, and we're hoping they'll be willing to be proactive and do something. If they don't, it will not be a negative for you for the Firewise USA program, because they understand we cannot control our neighbors. But it is a problem for your own personal safety. Probably your insurance would not cancel you for that. They shouldn't be able to, but shouldn't is a very operative word in this day and age dealing with an insurance company. And when they fly a drone over, it might be a problem for you. I don't think it legally should or could be, but doesn't mean it wouldn't. So main goal is to try to work with that neighbor and get them to have an awareness and understanding, and see if you can get them to change it. And if not, I would report it to the fire department and make sure that's one of your main access points to prepare for. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for spending the time with us this week and last week. So whatever hate haters you were getting. Thank you so much, at least from my husband and I. We appreciate this and you.
Thank you.
And your knowledge. We do. And I'm so tired of people getting crap when they're trying to do good. So thank you. My question is, are you thinking about or have you already approached one of our CSD meetings and being able to been afforded maybe 15 minutes to enlighten some of the more people that way? Because now we're going to start going to the CSD meetings ourselves. So could you have that platform there?
Thank you. Very good question. I've spent the last 5 months going to the CSD meetings, literally opening my topic saying this is a 5-alarm fire alarm. I was working with Wes, our general manager, and Perla, our finance administrator, to try to get a grant to help me do the whole community. Unfortunately, both of those people left their positions suddenly, and apparently my grant left with them. I did have a 3-year written proposal that I gave the CSD that outlined what I would do and an expense budget report of what it would require. That's all gone by the wayside. The CSD and the association are very, very aware of what I'm doing, and what they've said is that it's all a volunteer thing and I can do what I want to do and go have at it. There actually was, last night was a CSD meeting, and there was a very last minute, unexpected, suddenly arranged, our Kern County Fire leader, Wendy Ward, spoke at the CSD meeting last night to make sure everybody understood that Firewise USA is a free program, therefore they can do it themselves for free. That came about to let everybody know that they don't have to come work with me. So the association and the CSD is behind, they're supportive of what I'm doing, but they're not going to help me in any way, shape, or form is what I've been informed. I also went to our state senator, Shannon Grove. I also had an inside connection to her, and I reached out to her directly and the inside connection, and I've had zero response of any kind. So I've been trying that route for the past 5 months. I honestly was going to give up and just do my 8 houses on my street and go about my little life. And then the fires happened down in LA, and I thought, I don't want to be the only 8 houses left in Bear Valley. So that's when I came up with the idea, I'm going to rock and roll this. I'm going to offer it to 3,700 homes in Bear Valley, and now Stallion, Alpine, Golden Hills. And I'm going to charge for it because this is going to be my full-time job for the rest of my life. The issue is that Bear Valley requires us to put in the posted rail wooden fences because they look so wonderful. And so that's, he's saying if they're treated, that's helping them to not rot as quickly, but does it make them more fire retardant? We'll have to ask Robert that one. I don't know. But again, for your safety purposes, we're not allowed to have metal fencing, but you can have metal gates. So put that 5, 8, 10, 12 feet closest to your house, change that wood out to a metal gate. Robert, do you know if the treated post and rails are more fire retardant than, I would assume they are, but I don't know. That's an assumption. And if it's 20 years old, you can assume that treatment's long gone. Okay, next question.
Exactly. The question of...
Thank you, Robert.
This is a CSD. Where we live, there are at least 3 gullies that are water drainage that have not been cleared in any way. They're full of both grass and inflammable brush. Is there anything you can do, or we can do?
The question there, really good one. There's 3 gullies around their home, and the gullies are full of thick, dense, unattended brush. What can we do about that? As a fire-safe community working together, I would like to work with the CSD and the association or whoever we need to be chatting with, and we could go ahead, if they don't have the resources to trim near your home or whoever's homes, why don't we do a collaborated effort and make sure we have permission and trim it ourselves if we have to. I would prefer the CSD does it, but if they're not doing it near your home, rather than complaining, let's be proactive. But I don't know if we're allowed to. That's more than my boundaries I know today, so we'd have to find that out. Some of these gullies, half of it's on his personal property, and the other half is on another homeowner's. And should the CSD be clearing that, That's a question I'm not sure about because it's on your property. If you have a gas easement on your property, you're still responsible for clearing the brush off that easement area. But maybe we have somebody back here because honestly, I don't know many of the CSD rules, so you guys are going to help educate me and we find out along the way. Probably people here know more than I do, like Leanna. So Leanna is on Church Trail and she mows 50 feet behind her property herself. And it's an easement, And are you allowed to do that? Okay, so it got to 8 feet tall and she did it. And that's what we want here, proactive. Let's take control. Let's go here.
My name is Julie.
Oh, sorry,
I also
Julie.
I'm right on Foothill, my house, and the trail goes right there. And they clear a little bit off the trail, but they don't clear the rest. So, and it's not so I weed whack there too, anyway. So a lot of that stuff you just have to do yourself, sorry, but I think that's the truth. But I have these beautiful rows of Sharon bushes that, if any branches are touching the deck, or can they be, under a deck, or how does that work?
Good question. So she has branches that are near her decks, yet she's got gravel under the decks, and it sounds like she's got double deckers with two stories. Definitely your access points in a fire, definitely something you want to be paying attention to. Just try to trim the branches back away as much as you can. Literally go stand on your property, everybody, and literally stand there and look around and try to imagine if a fire were coming, what would want to catch on fire. And once you start doing it, you'll start seeing things you weren't even aware of. Just put your mind in that mindset.
Back to the question, private property versus the HOA property, okay? I work litigation on that as well. I've done so many HOA lawsuits. Whatever is yours, this is the kind of the rule of thumb, property-wise, is yours, okay? You clear whatever you got to do. With regard to HOA, you guys need to have open communication with your HOA, if that's even possible, right? And just sit down and say, look, we have this, you have to bring it to their attention. Otherwise, when it happens, then there's this freaking lawsuit. Somebody loses a property, they lose their house or whatever. So if you address it early with your HOA, with who's responsible for what, that is probably the best approach in order to resolve these type of issues. Because believe me, I know, if a house burns as a result of not clearing a wash, like this gentleman spoke about, and he loses his home. Okay, so now you've got the insurance company involved. They may go after the HOA. It just becomes a real big mess if you don't talk about it up front. So your next meetings, I highly recommend you go out and sit in these meetings and raise these issues now instead of having a problem later on down the road.
And hand the microphone right up here.
Just a second. I
up
had
next
one comment about the distance and so forth. There's regulations, if you're talking Bear Valley, and I think it goes otherwise, that you have to clear so much. The fire department goes around and inspects for that. And when we first moved there, they said, hey, if you don't do it, then we're going to do it and they'll charge you for it. However, they don't. So maybe that's one of the things as we team together, we can insist upon them actually following through, because some homes, they're absentee from here, they live down somewhere else and they do what they want to do, and they don't clean their brush, or they don't clean. And that's a big thing that could help a long ways. Along that line, if you go up the mountain on a horse, when I first came here, I rode up and the grasses and brush were up to the horse's belly. And now there's not been any fire, but there's not been any cleaning of any of that from all the way up to the top of Bear Mountain. And it's just compiling, and it's going to stay that way. Outside the gate, there are things that have been done, like sheep running around. You've seen them. They don't allow them in there because people inside say, oh, they'll eat my shrubs, my flowers, my trees, Yep, they might, but they will also maybe save your home. So there's things that can be done that if we team and we have like our own little checklist and we have some attendants, at the CSD meetings and so forth, or association meetings, it could have a big impact.
Thank you. Yes, we have a lot ahead of us, and there'll be some things we can, well, we've got some things we can handle and some things we can't, and I think that's a great one that we want to be working with the CSD and even our fire station so that we're working together why we have to do this. Okay, over here.
I have a question that's also an observation, and I'm at wit's end not knowing how to deal with this. We've been dealing with this for about 5 years with next door neighbors. And I live on Columbia, so I feel your pain about the power being off. I'm glad I have a generator, I can tell you that. In any event, these are people that don't live here full time. They visit on occasion. They refuse to pay money to clear their yard. They're elderly. They clear their own yard and do a horrible job at it. And then they take those clippings, they go to the back of their yard on a concrete pad, they put them into a fireplace container, and they burn their yard clippings back there. They do it when the wind is blowing. I've been dealing with this for 5 years. I've called the fire department at least 5 times. They have come out every single time. The last time they came out, and every time they come out, they say, "We're cooking hot dogs," quote unquote, every single time. The fire department has he said, "We understand, there's nothing we can do about it." I don't know what to do other than to bring peer pressure to bear. And I'm at the point now where I'm going to tell a story on Next Door Bear Valley. I just don't, I'm at wit's end. I have nowhere to go. We've decided to videotape them back there doing this burning, and they just won't pay someone to come clear their yard and take the debris away. All they're doing is burning debris. They're burning weeds, etc. We've seen the embers fly through the air during the wind. Our house gets full of smoke from this burning. Do you have any thoughts for me as to what we can do to alleviate this issue?
Other than that, it makes my soul heavy to hear you say that. I really don't. We need our fire department to be saying this can't be. We need, whatever regulations are in place to protect you. And I'm not in a position to have any sway. Robert is. Let's talk to Robert, because, all that does is make me sad, because it should be getting addressed. You've done the appropriate things, and I'm not sure. Let's see what Robert says. Let's hope he has something more optimistic and helpful than me.
That was a great question, and it's a problem that is purely a problem. Your local fire authority has the authority to cite these individuals. The fire code clearly states in there open burning has to be number one permitted, and it's a citable offense during a red flag season, okay? So I think it's gonna be important. I know you have one fire station in Bear Valley Springs, and it's Kern County Fire, and they're a great department. You have a good department. It's getting to the enforcement divisions and being able to sit down with their enforcers, deputy fire marshals, or whatever they may be, and say, this is and the fire code says it. You have the fire code behind you. The fire code is a very powerful publication. You have it behind you. Open burning, unpermitted burning, reckless burning. This is all a violation of code. It's a misdemeanor. It's going to be a ticket. Nobody's going to go to jail, but it is a finable offense. And so you need to reach out to them and say, look, I understand that, that you have a difficult situation trying to enforce this, but it is an enforceable act. And please help us out on this. So you have the code behind you. It's just a matter of getting the fire department out to be able to enforce it.
You can push it, it rotates, it moves.
Hi, 2 things, and again, thank you, Shelley, for all your hard work.
Thank you.
This may or may not have been answered, but it's on the same vein as the hillsides where nobody lives, riding your horse and the things are that high. Well, right across from my house on Columbia is a vacant lot. It's been vacant forever. Nobody takes care of it. And then my neighbors to the left, to the east, they have a vacant lot, which is right across from their house over there. I don't know if anyone takes care of that either. So what do we do? Do we need to find the owners? Do we contact the CSD? Does anyone know?
I would say all the above and cross your fingers. Unfortunately, we can't force our neighbors to do anything. And like the Firewise USA program understands that and won't penalize you for that, but that still doesn't put you in a safer position. So we'll keep this discussion going because unfortunately, I don't have good answers for that yet today, though Rick looks like he wants to say something. And and after Rick, we have one more question over here, so we're going to hand the microphone. Tell you, I get punchy at this point in time.
I'll hand the microwave over. One more question, which is for sure, should we take out those shrubs and plants 5 feet from our house?
If you are willing to and you want to be as safe as possible and you want to have your insurance as happy with you as possible, yes, you should. If you love them and that's not what you're going to do, you don't have to. I would try to keep them well watered, well trimmed, well clear of any debris, and if possible, have as much fire retardant landscape in those planters as you can. So in an optimal world, yes, you should remove them. Do you have to for the Firewise USA? Recommended, not required. Your insurance may very well require it. As said over here, as have a few people I've talked to, their insurance required it. Do you still have a question, dear? No, you're good?
Somebody over here's got one.
Actually, you just answered my question. It was shrubbery around your house. If you keep it like we're going to be doing a drip system so that there'll be water in the shrubbery, every day. At that point, do you think it would be okay to keep the shrubbery? You know where I live, so.
So the question is it okay to keep the shrubbery if you're keeping it wet with, say, a drip system? Again, you're going to get more brownie points with Firewise USA if you've gotten rid of it. You're definitely going to get more brownie points with any insurance or prospective insurance by getting rid of it. But do you have to? No. Keeping it watered will make a difference in your own safety. I do know her house personally. We discussed a little bit last week about level 1, 2, and 3 hardening, which we'll be working on together as our group, and we'll get more expansive information. There's a lot more, as I said, to cover than what we've done so far and won't get to today. If you're at level 3 hardening, not too many homes in Bear Valley will reach level 3. Your home, Vivette, you pretty much meet level 3. You qualify for the maximum insurance discount that I personally will never qualify for.
I'm trying to get a hold of a lot of people, and I got to meet.
Thank you, everybody who's leaving. Have a great day.
Got to meet with Terry Maxwell from KNZR down in Bakersfield. Maybe we can get Shelley on the radio. They were talking about it. I think the mayor of Tehachapi, everybody should be here right now. I don't understand it myself. If people aren't waking up to what's gone on over there, and well, it happened to them, it's not us, kind of a thing. I'm a Murphy's Law guy. If it can happen, it will. That's the way I think. And as a former, I had a short time on LA City Fire, and my wife had 33 years with LA City Fire. We're pretty conscious about this kind of stuff. So I'm telling you, we gotta just go down to those CSD meetings because it seems like they never announce them. I forget when they are. That's how I met Shelley when she was down there. It seemed like that when I met you, they just gave her like 2 minutes. We got to get up there and make these people earn their title up there. We got to get up there in power and numbers and get radio stations, get everybody involved in this thing.
Hang on one sec.
Here, go ahead.
And then I know Julie had her hand raised too.
There's a way to work this board meeting where I sign up for 2 minutes, he signs up for 2 minutes, she signs up for 2 minutes, and we give our 2 minutes to you. So instead of you only have 2 minutes, all of a sudden you have 15. So there is ways to work that board meeting.
And real quick, just because I've got more people leaving. So again, get me back your form of your mitigation and get everyone on your street to get me back that form. The sooner we have enough people to submit it, we'll move forward. And that's why I have that 6-week window of get your neighbors to come join us in this, just so that I can try to get us through before we run out of the summer timeline. And I'll reiterate it one last time. It's not a Firewise USA recommendation that I'm doing this 6-week window. It's my desire to get everybody covered before the insurance poop hits the fan big time.
And again, let's thank the church for allowing this this time.
Thank you.